Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Abaddon, and today I wanted to start a series on the channel that I've wanted to start for quite a while. It's a story time that focuses on things that I've experienced in law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement for just over 4 years now. So to keep something to keep in mind, especially for this first story, is in my line of law enforcement, when I'm on duty, I have just like any other law enforcement, full police arresting powers, all that stuff. But off duty, I don't have any. I'm not law enforcement, so that's something important to keep in mind with this video. And even though off duty, we're not law enforcement. To and from work, I still wear my uniform. And the purpose of that for me is I like to get into a mindset. I have pretty much a routine. I wear my uniform. I get ready at home and I wear my uniform to work. I don't like to stop anywhere though. I don't like to I don't make any stops realistically, unless it's like this video, which I'll get into, dropping my kid off to my wife at work. So I do get ready at home and then I wear my uniform to and from work, but that's to the extent of it. And just keep those things in mind as we're telling the story. So let's get into it. Okay, so this story takes place about 2 years ago or so. Around 2 years ago. My dad is actually visiting from Wyoming for a couple weeks, and I'm getting ready for work. I think my dad was going out somewhere that day, and so just like any other day, I take my son to my wife at work. She works during the day, and I work at night. So I get ready, and I go out to my car just like any other normal day. I put my son in the car, and I get in the car, and I realize I don't have my phone. And part of the routine of getting in the mindset of work, getting mentally prepared and fit for my job, is listening to music in the car. And so I'm like, oh crap, I don't have my phone. I get out of my car, so I get out of my car, and I just look around for a moment. I'm just relaxing. I like to get the fresh air. I don't spend too much time outside. And not at work, I don't go outside a whole lot. And when I'm home, I'm sleeping, playing video games, stuff like this. So, but I look to my left and there's this woman, and she's like not really screaming, but like panicking, help me. And I look next to her, and there's a dude having a seizure on the ground. And what's especially scary about this is if she wasn't there, there's a very good chance I would not have seen him. He wasn't one of those real physical or loud like episodes. He had the type of seizure where you're pretty silent, have a little bit of movement, but I had no idea he was there. And so and that's where it comes back to off duty. I'm not law enforcement, but if you see someone with a police uniform on, you expect a level of responsibility and just reactness, I guess you could say. You expect them to help you. And so I run over there. Well, okay, and I don't just run over there. I'm like, oh fuck, I have my son in the car. I don't have my phone. Her tunnel vision is right on the dude having the seizure. So I'm like, okay, give me 2 seconds. I get my son out. I run upstairs and give my son to my dad. I'm like, hey, you need to watch him for a minute. There's a dude having a seizure in the parking lot. I grab my phone. I run back down there. And so by the time I get back down there, there's another dude that's already there, and he's on the phone with 911. So I get back down there, and I start assisting her with him. It's just honestly a pretty typical seizure. Not a whole lot to really do. She has a blanket under his head, which is very smart on her behalf, to help protect him from the hard ground. And then I notice as it progresses a little bit, so EMS is already on their way. and I notice he stops breathing. So I'm like, okay, he's not breathing. We need to get him on his side. I help him. I assist from the feet, and she's assisting from his shoulders. And as we're turning him, she's freaked out, which is totally unacceptable, because I mean, I won't lie, everything I deal with in law enforcement, like, it's hard. Like, if someone tells you it's not, they're either honestly built different, they're one of a kind that is made to endure the stress of this type of stuff, which is great, or they're lying to you, or they're just straight up lying to you. And it's hard, and I don't blame her for freaking out at all, but she's freaking out, and she accidentally kind of pushes him off the blanket, and he falls on his face a little bit, which, I mean, it was half an inch of a drop off that blanket. I mean, it was just a little blanket on the ground. I mean, but the sympathy pain immediately rushed through my head, like, oh fuck, that would not be, I don't know, but it's great because we get him on his side. He starts breathing again. I notice he bit his tongue, or either his tongue or his cheek. Some blood starts to come out of his mouth, but he starts breathing again, which is great. And this woman, she's not handling it very well. I felt really bad for her. But if I'm gonna be honest, she probably saved the man's life. If she wasn't there to get my attention, I probably wouldn't have noticed him. And who knows how long he had been seizing before I got there. I mean, seizures can last a while, or he could have had a couple there. I don't know. But we get him breathing again. I start asking him some basic questions, like what's the year, who's the president, what day of the week is it? Have you had seizures before? And he's not really. You can tell he's trying to understand what I'm saying, but he's not fully there. But he was coming back. And I mean, one of the most common medical emergencies I deal with is seizures. So I knew he was going to be fine, based on his just the way his brain was coming back. Even if it took some time, took a couple hours even for him to fully come back to reality. And it didn't take EMS very long to get there. Once EMS was there, I had to go. I had to get to work. But I started asking him those questions. When he saw me at first, he was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because he had no idea he was having a seizure. And he wakes up, and I switch over to his upper body area, and I have her go assist him by the legs, just so if he started to stop breathing again, or even vomit a little bit, being the one that's trained, I wanted to at least give him the best help I could. So I'm like, here, swap me positions. And his eyes open, and he looks at me like, what the there's a cop in my face, like what's going on? And I actually don't know, because EMS got there so quick. I don't know, because he saw me a couple times since then, while I still lived in that area. He saw me a couple times, and he didn't look like he knew who he didn't say anything to me. I don't think he knew that I had helped him with a seizure. But it was such a crazy experience, because it showed me a lot of, because I work in a facility for the most part, not always, but for the most part. And so being able to help someone in a whole different environment than what I'm used to really gave me a clarity of what I want to do with law enforcement. Which, like I said, the current law enforcement I'm in is actually changing soon. But it was a really cool experience. It was a lot less stressful. I've also come to the realization that environment plays a huge role in stress. And if you're doing something stressful in a stressful environment, it makes it a lot harder. But it was just a really cool. Law enforcement is so unappreciated nowadays, and the look on that woman's face, when she saw me, was like she needed my help. And it was cool to be able to really help someone that needed you. And as cliche as that sounds, like how basic that every police interview is, I just want to help someone, which is, I think, is the dumbest answer anyone can give. But being able to just help somebody, like just genuinely help them, it was nice. It was a very good experience for me. EMS got there, took over. I bounced. I was actually really fast. I had to get to work. I think I even called and said I'm going to be a few minutes late. But it was a very unique, one in a kind thing I've never experienced before. I mean, I've experienced seizures plenty, but I just not in that capacity. Even though I left super quick, I didn't actually say much to the dude that showed up, called 911, or the woman that was assisting before I even got there, other than have a better day, because I knew that day was stressful for her. I really wish I could go back and just kind of let her know, like, you probably saved this dude's life, even though seizures aren't anyone in medical will tell you seizures are on the lower end for the most part of medical emergencies when they're supervised. I mean, like I said, seizures can be really bad if they're unsupervised, especially if they stop breathing like that dude did. If they choke or something, then that can be really bad, and that's what can make it deadly. But I mean, I just really wish I had really let that woman know, like, you potentially saved this dude's life. Like, if it wasn't, like, you're a goddamn hero. And I never saw her again, or I would have said something to her later on. But it was a cool experience. I hope that never happens to that dude ever again, because I couldn't imagine if I mean, I've never had a seizure in my life, but that's the last place. And again, like I said, seizures when supervised, typically no problem at all. Just keep an eye on them, assist them if needed. But unsupervised and in a parking lot where it's hot and you're on gravel or whatever surface you're on, concrete even, like, that could be bad, especially if you have a violent physical seizure. I feel bad for that dude. Hopefully that never happens to him again. It never hasn't happened to him since then. But yeah, it was a really cool experience for me, not for him or anyone helping. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to, I'm glad I was the one that was there, and not just, I'm glad I was there to help, you know. But yeah, that's the first story I have. I have plenty more. I have stories of being in fights, being investigated myself, all sorts of stuff. So if you enjoy it, let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I probably do this at least once a week, I'm sure, if not more, depending on the feedback I get. So if you enjoyed it, yeah, just comment down below. All right, I will see you guys later.